Hey guys, hope everyone's having a good day. So I know it's been quite a while, been very, very, very busy lately in the middle of track season, got another job, got all that stuff going on. So I haven't had time to actually make a technical breakdown, but today we're going to do Gudzius, or Andrius Gudzius. He's a 69-meter discus thrower, 2019 world champion, famously him and Stahl, one of the best world championships ever. Both of them just going back and forth, really. Both throwing like pretty close together. But Gudzius ended up going on top, really cemented his name in history. Has been a consistent performer, making world championship finals, Olympic finals, gotten medals here and there in Europeans, and I think another Worlds as well. And just overall, such a consistent performer at major competitions. So this is a 67 meter 2 centimeter throw. Thank you at Global Throwing for providing this video. You guys should subscribe to them. It was this throwing channel's been around for a long time. So Global Throwing was Vestine Histyson's thing. If you guys don't know, you guys are new to my channel because I think I reference him in mostly like every video. He was Gerd Kanter's coach, Daniel Stahl's coach, Simon Peterson's coach. He's the best business coach. I think it's not even close, really, in terms of how many people he's coached and how many Olympic medals he's coached, how many world champions, how many Olympic gold medalists he's got, how many 70-meter plus throwers he's coached. Just absolute God. Oh, God. I'm sorry if you guys can hear this. These dogs are barking and stuff. I'm really apologize for that. Yeah, sorry. I had to close my window real quick. So, let's get into this, though. All right? So, what I really love about him and his technique is it's super basic, which leads to it being super repeatable, which leads to him being consistent in major championships. All right, he always consistently throws over 65 plus meters when it really counts inside stadiums. Excuse me. And yeah, I mean, I just love his movement. It's super consistent. He adds to the long lineage of goated Lithuanian discus throwers from the whole Lechna family, to Romas Ubartas, who was a Olympic champion as well in '92, and then Gudzius. Just Lithuania, they produce so many good discus throwers. Other throwers, but discus throwers, I don't know why they produce so many like goated discus throwers, but they do. But let's get into it. So I love, 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 love nice even wind. So if you notice, his discus is a little lower, so his left arm is a little lower. So you want your arms to be level. So if you have a low wind with your right hand, then you want a lower left arm as well. You don't want your left arm to be up here and your discus to be down here. All right, you want it to be here and here. All right, so he does a great job of that. Now, why is that the case? And the reason why is because it can lead to you not being connected, really, because then your shoulders are not going to be at the same level. So your shoulders are going to start doing two different things, and it can lead to you scooping at the front. It can lead to you falling into the middle of the ring. It can lead to a whole host of problems. All right, so you want to wind with whatever level your discus hand is back at. You want your opposite hand to be that same level, pretty much. All right. So he gets here. You notice when he winds, he doesn't really move his foot that much. I love that, because the less movement you can do in the throw, the better. All right, and he only does necessary movements. So I love that. I love that so much. You notice he kind of bends his left arm here, but he keeps it this part of his arm, the delt, shoulder, and to elbow, relatively long, but he bends this left arm. That's not really a big deal because he'll straighten it back out right there. All right, but he's nice and relaxed upper body wise. And as you notice, so he starts a little taller, and then he's going to sink just a little bit over his left side. And then when his left foot is at 90, this right foot's going to start picking up. That right knee is going to go out and around like that. Super nice. So left foot is down the middle, all right, and discus behind him, behind his right hip. Love that. He holds that separation super well. Gets a nice wide sweep. Not that wide, but wide enough. Really, really nice here. Now, what I think he does super well is this sprint. I think he has one of the best sprint phases in history. And what I mean by that is his timing through it. His timing is unreal. So what I tend to coach is when you sprint, you want to think about when this right leg or the sweep leg is passing your left leg, you want to get off your left leg. All right? And that's pretty much impossible to achieve. But if you think like that, then you're going to get this kind of effect. If I scroll the right way, this right here. Now, if you notice, this is basically as close as you can get to this. His sprint phase is unreal. So his right foot lands. Look at where his left foot is. Now, sure, it's a little high for my liking. I prefer it to be like down here. But he's just moving at an unbelievable pace. He is one of the fastest. Honestly, he might be almost as fast as Peter Malachowski. He's not the fastest, but, he's close. He is so fast through the ring. And he is super tall as well. And I think he uses his body super well for that. And for being 6'7", he's kind of evenly proportioned too. Now, obviously, he has big, long monkey arms and stuff, but he doesn't have that long of arms for someone who's 6'7", if I'm going to be quite honest. So he really throws very compact, which usually isn't good for a discus thrower. But if you're a compact person and you don't have long arms, sure, you want to try and use length to the best of your ability, but you can use that also to advantage and throw discus kind of like a shot putter. Be very, very compact in your movements and rely super heavily on that sprint phase. Kind of like how a Joe Kovacs throws compared to a Ryan Krauser. So Gudzius would be the opposite of a Daniel Stahl, who's actually a little shorter than him, but his wingspan is insane and his limb lengths are insane. So Daniel Stahl is very, very grounded, doesn't sprint that hard. But his finish mechanics are some of the best in history. Obviously, that's why he's one of the best discus throwers of all time. But Gudzius is not blessed with an 8-foot wingspan. So what he does is he throws this kind of honestly, this throw kind of reminds me of how a shot putter would throw. And I say that because it's not to be a negative, but it's because it's smart. He knows he's not built like a Stahl or a Virgilius Alekna with humongous wingspan and long limbs. So he uses his compact stature. I say that he's 6'7", but his compact stature relatively to his height to his advantage. So he gets that. This sprint phase is so unreal. It's actually insane how much sprint he gets out the back. And what I really appreciate is his timing. All right here. So this is about as close as you can get. There's one thing I don't like though, is that he kind of extends this left knee a little. Right here. He extends it a little. So he goes a little bit up. But he also goes forward too. So, but I think, granted, this was taken 2018. So I would have to look at a more recent video. It's just, there's not very many good videos of him, sadly, at good angles. I was going to do like a 68-meter throw that he did recently, but there was a big pole in the way, so it covered up like half of the throw, so there's no point, but whatever. As I don't want to go into a whole rant of how people film throwing, but, whatever. But, so, I don't know if he has improved on this. I haven't taken that close a look on his left leg in recent years. But this would be a thing, because I think it's a good height here, and then I think it can get a little lower, and he can get a lot more forward through the ring instead of this up. Alright, that's like the only thing I'll say on it, but his timing with how his sweep gets a little bit around, just enough so he gets ahead, because you still want your sweep to get ahead of you, but it's just enough. Because most people, they will wait until like here, and then their left foot would still be like back here. And that means you're just getting off late out of your left. And a lot of people would confuse like, oh, I can't sprint out the back, or oh, my left leg is super slow at the front. That's a timing issue. It's not a... It could also be an athletic issue, but honestly, most people overlook, just get off earlier out the back. Like, you don't want to spend too much time on your left leg out the back. You want just enough so you can turn, just enough so you can at least get to your left foot faces the right sector and line, and your sweep can actually clear your left side. And then that left side needs to get off. And I think he is a great example of that. All right. So he gets here, upper body wise, really nice, holds his chest super well. He bends his left arm again, and actually he bends it, he bends it there and there, which is really weird, because normally, like, you'll see it and it will be bent like here and then here, not here and here. So, that's kind of weird, but it works. But it stops him from going too far forward. And that's really nice. He always keeps this discus super long. Super, super, super long. Love to see that. So he touches down. Where does he touch down? Oops, that's the wrong way. He touches down like right there. Like I said, I think this left foot's a little high. But just like when I said about Gerd Cantor and some other people, if you're just moving this fast, it doesn't really matter, because your left foot's just going to get down regardless. It's just that most people can't move this fast, so they can't get away with it. I always say that if you're a supremely gifted athlete and you have been throwing for many, 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 many years, you can get away with some stuff that, sure, I might not agree with, but who am I to say? So would I tell him, if I was his coach, hey, your left foot's really tall? If he's already tried to like keep it low and it just doesn't work, and it is not really that much of a problem because he gets it down perfect, so it's not really a detriment. And that's the biggest complaint I see with coaches. Now, I know I'm one to talk. I'm a very young coach, but in my young career, I've had a lot of success, and I like to think I know what I'm talking about. So I've been told by other coaches as well. A lot of really, really good coaches as well, too. So I'd like to think I know a little bit here and there, but I personally coach, your left leg cannot go above your right knee in this phase right here. So when your right foot lands and your left foot's going past. So, but I think a big mistake that a lot of people make, a lot of coaches make, is they try and teach athletes to be not too technical, but too like textbook. And I'll give you a perfect example. So Adam Nelson with his freaky left leg, a lot of coaches tried to coach that out of him, and he just couldn't do it. He just didn't throw far without doing that. And then it took like one coach, and he said this in an interview. You can go like look it up. He said this in multiple interviews as well. That, it just takes one smart coach to be like, hey, you throw far. Sure, this looks kind of weird. And it's not like it goes against a lot of things, but hey, you throw far with it. So who gives a rip how it looks? So, and I think a lot of coaches would not do that. I think a lot of coaches would continue trying to change someone like Adam Nelson, even though he throws far like that. And he doesn't throw far with the way that most other people would throw. And I learned that lesson from, again, Vestinus Dyson. As you could tell, he's my coaching hero, because I name drop him in like every video. But I think one of the most fascinating things he ever said was none of his throwers look the same at all. Really, sure, like they all hit like kind of the basic positions and stuff, but they all look completely different. You can tell stall from canter. Cantor does not throw like Simone Peterson. Simone Peterson doesn't throw like Daniel Stahl. Daniel Stahl doesn't throw like Gerd Cantor. And, um, you know, Gerd Cantor doesn't throw like Martin Cooper. It's just, yeah, all his throwers look different. And I think that is the sign of a good coach. You look at Dale Stevens, not Danny Stevens. Dale Stevens, like, he's not afraid to experiment. Like Tom Walsh, I mean, he completely changed Tom Walsh, and I think revolutionized the way people look at throwing. He completely changed Matthew Denny, and now Matthew Denny's the second furthest thrower in history. Whether you believe it's the Ramona effect or whatever, he did it. He's thrown 74 meters multiple times. All right, and he's such a Matthew Denny's another amazing competitor. And I think a lot of coaches get hung up in trying to make them look pretty instead of actually like playing to an athlete's strengths. And sure, like try and correct weaknesses and here and there, but if someone has an incredible strength, why would you not use it? And I think that's a sin that a lot of coaches make, because they want the athletes to just look like cool doing that, even if it means they don't throw far the way they do things. All right, so sure, in summation to all that, sure, like yeah, this left leg's really high. It's actually even higher than Cantor's, I think. Like he's almost doing a butt kicker, but does it affect anything? No, he gets it down perfectly fine. Sure, he lands a little bit open, but this is a meet. He's not going to be perfectly technical. These are not practice throws or anything. He's not going super slow. He's not worried about technique. He's worried about throwing it far. So these in meets, technical throws are not going to be the best technical throws. If you want to look at pros actually doing like technical things, look at training videos of them. That's why I really like looking at training videos and not meet videos. If I want to actually learn, some videos they might actually say what they're working on, or two, you might actually just be able to figure out what they're working on. And three, they're usually at their technical best, because that's like actually what they're working on. They're actually working on things, and at a meet, you're not supposed to be working on things. You're supposed to just be throwing. So sure, yeah, he lands a little open. Like, he could have landed his, like, right here. Let's see. Yeah, his left foot lands there, so a hair open. Not bad at all, though. Like, his hip is still way far ahead of his disc. I love that his left foot is facing out and his right foot's facing out a little. I would like his right foot to face 90 a little. But his right side in his throw is impeccable. I love it. So he gets here. I want you to pay attention to this right foot. Let me see. Can I? Hold on. Sorry, I know this is really blurry. Oh, damn it. That's the wrong way. So he gets here. He drops it a little, and then immediately picks it back up. But I want you to pay attention when he does here. This right foot, and particularly the right heel, is going to go around and up. All right? And you can see him physically pushing off the ground, and it's actually turning. All right? That's what you want. That's what you want. That's a big thing that I've always had difficulty with because of my weak ankles. But you want to, one, I don't like how his heel comes down a little. I think it's, does it actually come down? I actually can't tell if it comes down. I think it does because it stops turning for a second. And then he does it again. So the discus kind of catches up to him just a little bit, but not bad. But when your right heel like goes down, what's going to happen when your right heel goes down is it's going to stop for a split second, which if you're moving super fast and you're not diligent and patient enough to react in real time, your discus is going to catch up to your hip, which you don't want because the second you lose separation, you've lost basically all your power, and you're just going to throw with your upper body, really. But he does a great job here. So he's here. Great job here. And this out he gets is spectacular. And then he reverses into it. Super nice. So he's a very tall thrower. And what I mean by tall thrower is like he throws, he doesn't get like super low like an Ishan Haddadi or anything. But what he does super well is use his gifts extremely well. The gift of speed and the gift of just being a super reactionary thrower. And what I mean by reactive thrower. Like he's just going just straight off instinct, and that's what you get at this kind of level. You don't think about your throw, you just kind of just throw because it's all muscle memory. You've taken the 20 to like 100,000 reps. You know, he's probably been throwing since he was like a little kid because he grew up in Europe and stuff, and that's usually what they do. And that's why European throwers are usually better than American, unless it comes to shot put. But like, yeah, I think his technique is phenomenal. I think he gets a great great orbit here. Hip comes up a little, actually quite a bit. Gets a phenomenal high point just above his head. Not too much, not too little, just perfect. And then he gets here. Gets a nice out right here. And just throws. Nice easy save. I just realized I didn't actually play this video in full. As you can see, extremely, extremely fast. One of the fastest discus throwers of all time. I would claim. I don't see very many that are faster. I think some of the only people I could maybe say are like a Robert Verzickas or a Peter Malachowski, and then maybe like Lars Riedel's really fast as well. That's underrated one. Gerd Cantor, obviously. But yeah, I can't think of a lot of others honestly that are faster than him. I think Robert Verzickas is probably the fastest discus thrower of all time. Peter Malachowski is a close second, and then Gudzius might be on par with that. I think he might be faster than Cantor. He might be. Like, he is, like, unholy fast. Like, it's actually insane how fast he is. But again, that's the timing. Like, look how little time he actually spends on his left leg. Alright? Like, that's phenomenal. Alright? But I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry, I'm going to be, like, trying to come out with more videos more regularly, like technical analysis stuff. It's just been so hectic in my life right now. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.